A channel with a tiny audience, a faceless newbie in a saturated market, another generic interview channel, and a duo making short movies getting no views. How did these pro YouTubers revive their dying channel and then go viral multiple times, gain hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and perform a complete 180 within months? So I spent weeks analyzing their journeys and found the 4 key strategies they implemented to scale. And in this video, you'll learn the genius ways to capture new YouTube audiences, the 4-step analysis framework, how to escape a niche chokehold, and the full blueprint to making bingeable viral YouTube videos. We'll uncover all the secrets and reveal how these tactics saved them from endless years stuck in growthless limbo. So let's start with Stefanovic, currently sitting at 250,000 subscribers and many viral videos within the last year. You might think that he had it all planned out. Well, this is far from the truth. So 3 years ago, he was posting different types of content with no clear niche. He had less than 500 subscribers and was averaging a few thousand views per video. However, after 3 years, he finally found something that worked. So sharing his insights on data analysis, his day in the life video was the first receiving over 800,000 views, closely followed by his next with over 200,000 views. So there's very clearly a demand. So he continued posting, every upload improved and racked up even more views and subscribers, and in July 2022, he posted his biggest video. Initially receiving steady engagement, it grew faster and faster until his guide reached over 2.6 million views. His channel completely exploded. He went from 40,000 subscribers to 140,000 subscribers in less than 6 months. This was the largest amount of growth he had ever experienced. Now, if you were in that position, what would you do next? You'd probably think to go crazy and just double down on this format, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, he had a problem. He had been caught in a niche chokehold. So data analysis was the niche he started with, but he had other interests as well. It also didn't help that he was soon quitting his career to start traveling. So he had to find a way to pivot his content. But what would align with his current interests and still bring in the views? He had no idea. Then over the years, he had tried travel videos. They didn't really work. He tried lifestyle vlogs, no success. Self-improvement advice, they didn't really work either. No matter what he posted, it just wasn't getting the same views. And he didn't understand. He was passionate about these topics and spent so much time making each video. So why weren't they getting pushed? Time was running out, he had to figure something out fast, and after much deliberation, he tried a completely different approach. So initially when posting non-data analysis content, it was always based on only his interests. But what if instead he would still share his interests, but position them in a way to attract a broader audience? So he studied other YouTubers and viral videos and constantly questioned, can I position my content to capture this audience? And after discovering potential audiences, he got to work experimenting with different formats. He targeted overarching topics such as tech jobs, entrepreneurship, anti-9-to-5, and online gurus. And these were his following titles: I worked a tech job for 2,000 days, becoming a freelancer saved my life, and what would have initially been seen as a complete curveball, the rise of ultra-rich young YouTubers performed incredibly well. And I'm not surprised that the title of the thumbnail contains some genius secret techniques I will cover at the end of this video. However, the real gem is that the strategy was not focusing on just targeting bigger audiences, but rather the audiences who had similarities to his initial subscribers. Even though he loved them, his previous travel and self-improvement videos were positioned in a way that was unrelated to his data analysis videos. So his initial audience showed little interest and made the videos underperform, resulting in the algorithm making no reason to push the content to a wider audience. However, after his analysis and repositioning, existing subscribers engaged well with the new videos, essentially kind of incentivizing the algorithm to then push his content. And the crazy thing is, because of the kind of crossover in his initial and new audience interests, new viewers engaged with his older content, and this caused his kind of overall channel views to double from 4 million to 8 million a month, and the algorithm to still keep pushing a complete 180 compared with a few years before. So what are the takeaways and how can we apply this? Well, the next time you want to try a new content style, ask yourself these two questions. First, does this new, bigger audience have shared interests with my current subscribers? And second, how can I position my content to appeal to a bigger audience and my existing subscribers? If you can provide an answer to either, it's best to keep looking for another audience or kind of post the content on a new channel. Otherwise, you'll continue uploading and see no engagement, just like Stefanovic did for 3 years. But is there a way to guarantee our success? Well, maybe. Up next are 2 German YouTubers who followed a 4-step analysis framework that made them unstoppable even when joining a saturated US-dominated market. There's been a boom in faceless content recently, so documentaries, video essays, sports analysis channels, there are just too many to count. And when it comes to faceless content on Western topics, which countries do you think dominate? It's quite clearly the US. Now, Fern was a channel created by German and Dutch YouTubers. They saw the huge demand and wanted Fern to not focus on solely European stories, but rather on global ones. But they had some issues. How do you insert yourself into an already saturated market? And how do you go from 0 English videos to understanding video preferences and dominating this crowded market? They didn't have an infinite budget, as most of us don't, so they had to be intentional. And here's where it got interesting. To guarantee that they would raise the bar, they leveraged a 4-step analysis framework called ERRC. First, they started with E and analysed existing channel practices to see what could be eliminated. So they discovered a lot of faceless channels that covered detailed content had overly complex explanations, so they chose to keep the depth but eliminate any complication from their scripts. Up next was the R, so while analysing channels they wondered what factors they could reduce well below the industry standard. They noticed a lot of content that didn't add any value and relied on clickbait strategies, so they made sure to research what people were actually interested in and then upload valuable educational videos that aligned with those interesting topics. The third, they had another R, but this time they focused on what elements should be raised well above the industry standard. And there were a few. They wanted their storytelling, their voice narration, smooth animations, and research quality and global relevance to really kind of outshine the competition. These would work together to engage viewers, and if viewers were mentally and emotionally engaged, they would be hooked. And finally, they had the C. They asked themselves, what can we create what faceless channels have never done before? And they knew it was their 3D animations, the glue that would bring it all together and make viewers immediately recognize their upload. So after following the 4-step analysis framework, they got to work, making sure that their criteria were met. And as expected, Fern's resulting channel growth was incredible. After 4 months of posting only 14 videos, they gained over 630,000 subscribers and are currently sitting at 12 million monthly views, which is absolutely insane. And what's incredible is that they are still growing. So how can you apply this to your channel? It's relatively simple. The next time you want to go into a new market, use the 4-step analysis framework, and this will quickly highlight the opportunities and the kind of actionable steps required to take an already working format to the next level. And this is how you create your own blue ocean. In fact, other faceless channels such as Jake Tran and Starter Story have mentioned following a similar strategic approach to create bingeable content, which we'll now be diving into. The blueprint to bingeable content. So when it comes to bingeable content, Pat Wall's Starter Story is a great example of what's possible. So his channel breaks the stereotype that podcasts and interviews are boring. So here is a channel that revolves around long form, so face-to-face interviews, yet still managed to earn nearly 100,000 followers in 6 months. How did that happen? Well, picture this. Pat uploaded 15 videos, each an in-person interview lasting about 10 to 20 minutes. However, these weren't any generic interviews. They averaged anywhere between 100,000 to 700,000 views each. So what's his secret? It's the structure. So let's break it down. Pat starts with what I like to call the golden trio. The title, the thumbnail, and the first few seconds of the video each work together and revolve around a gripping number or income figure, hooking you in right away. But next, his thumbnails. They're incredibly simple. No flashy graphics, just two things: the guest's face and the key income amount. It's kind of like a magnet for your eyes. And after clicking,
this guy makes $1.3 million a year.
The editing keeps you glued. The pacing is fast with new elements introduced every 3 to 5 seconds, a technique used by many big YouTubers such as Beluga or Mr. Beast, whether it's a different camera angle, image overlay, box highlighting a key insight, or captions that appear. You're guided through the entrepreneur's story by visuals and sounds. Utilizing animations and sound effects.
Brad started building this idea while he was working a 9-to-5, and the crazy part is he didn't quit his job until he was making $80,000 a month.
Emphasize significant points, keeps the viewer engaged, and the use of music complements the atmosphere perfectly. Pat also makes sure to have an incredibly short hook, averaging less than 7 seconds. His hook names the guest, throws in the income amount, and adds a brief statement that triggers a curiosity gap in the viewer. As the video progresses, Pat presents us with sound bites and intriguing statements like, "He also told me the secret to why this newest company is a big hit in college sports." And I'd like to call these carrot statements, because just like a carrot on a stick, you're practically compelled to keep going. And after this, Pat dives into the core of the interview, so the guest story, their strategies, their routine, all containing facts, figures, and kind of constantly changing film locations for added novelty. Finally, the outros lead to the biggest payoffs. The guest answering the key questions.
What advice would you have for someone who's just starting
and what would you tell your younger self at the start of your journey? And overall, that's what sets Starter's story apart. It's how it's energetically consistent and value-packed from the moment you see the thumbnail and the title to the moment the video ends. So what can we learn from Pat's channel? Firstly, I recommend using Pat's video structure as a framework. It's literally a masterclass on creating an engaging viral video. When you mix storytelling, engaging editing, and strategic pacing, you can turn even the most boring of content into a bingeable user experience. But there's one thing that Pat also leverages, which we haven't covered yet. It's something that Stefanovic and many creators just like you use to immediately gain access to huge audiences. But first, really quickly, just a heads up, if you're looking to get more views on your YouTube channel and turn your channel from an energy drain to a robust sales engine at PlayStack, we help you do exactly that. We're running a YouTube growth mastermind hosted by YouTubers with 1 million plus subscribers, including myself, and with business owners that have generated over $1 billion of revenue for their clients. I'll drop a link in the description below for you to check that out. You'll also get unlimited consulting on your YouTube channel directly from me and my team at PlayStack, and we're currently running a Black Friday offer from the 10th of December to the 22nd of December, where the mastermind community runs for only $167 a month, which is insane value. Unlimited consulting one-on-one, including for myself, for $167 a month. Link in the description below. Let's get back to the video. Now on to the next analysis. Sticks, an Australian duo, began by uploading cinematic short films. Now, these were well filmed and many hours had been invested into each one. However, there was a problem. No one cared. For the first 5 years, they averaged a few thousand views per video, and they were becoming more discouraged. And this is kind of a familiar struggle for many creators, right? You put your heart and your soul into connecting with an audience, but it just doesn't happen. After even more months, the duo had enough. They wanted to pivot and find a way to go viral, so they settled for a genius, bold step. They wanted to combine their expertise in filmmaking with popular YouTubers by creating movie trailers about them. They would then try to find a way to get these creators to watch their trailer and give them their live reaction.
How did you know all this?
And this was a very unique concept, so no one could foreshadow how it would pan out, but it's fair to say this strategy has been paying off. They created trailers for top YouTubers such as Eric, Ryan Trahan, Mark Rober, and documented their adventures, traveling the world and getting the trailers to them. But what sticks out, however, is the storytelling in each video. It truly is an adventure, as you're kept wondering, will they pull this off? And the production quality just kind of adds to it. Sticks really nailed the emotional connection. Their passion and the challenges they faced really resonated with the viewers. In fact, I think their storytelling videos perform better than the actual trailers themselves. It's relatable, inspiring content that creates a deep bond between a creator and their audience. The market responded so strongly to them that since June, they've gained 180,000 subscribers. So what can we take from Stix' journey? Well, first, you need to kind of understand that just creating content isn't often enough to go viral. Even if it's a cinematic masterpiece, you need to go where the audience is, whether through authority hijacking or finding a unique angle. And if you remember, this is what Stefanovic did in his Guru video. By including well-known gurus such as Imran Gadzi and John Welsh on his thumbnail, he immediately accessed their audience of millions. And by connecting with your viewers on a deeper level and being willing to take risks, you will likely create an irreplaceable YouTube brand. Stix have created a content mode, a style so distinct and difficult to replicate, yet still well executed that it sets them apart. So when you think about your channel, I think it's important to ask these three questions. What well-known people and brands can I leverage to access their audience? Are there any unique perspectives I can bring that other channels can't? And how can I optimize my content for connection? If you do this and all the previous three steps, you'll be making viral videos in no time. And if you like this video, check out the video I uploaded just last week right here called The Formula Mr. Beast Uses for Every YouTube Video. Click on the card on the screen to watch that. And do check out PlayStack's Black Friday offer, one-on-one unlimited YouTube consulting for just $167 a month. Link in the description below.